Yesterday, by the causeless mercy of Guru and Vaishnavas, we observed Sri Ramchandra's appearance day in Vrindavan Dham. Ramchandra is Maryada Purushottama. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stated, for everyone and for himself, Maryada Langana Mui Sahite na pare. I cannot tolerate if someone crosses over proper etiquette. If someone would break proper etiquette, Mahaprabhu would immediately reject that person. Not only was this applied for Chota Haridas or Kala Krishna Das, Mahaprabhu says, Jaimon Tomon Visham Taragar. Mahaprabhu is very strong, like a strong bamboo rod with the strong twigs on either side, but he was much harder than such a strong bamboo rod. He came in Kali Yuga, and in Kali Yuga, people try to break all etiquette, but Mahaprabhu would not do this. He was so strong, he would follow very strong rules and regulations. Mahaprabhu said, Raghunath Vairagya Pasanera Reka. Raghunath Das Goswami's renunciation is like a line in stone that can never be broken. This is not only a 2-day or 3-day performance, but it is eternal. Mahaprabhu in this way praised Raghunath. So Ramchandra's appearance was in Treta Yuga. Yesterday we heard in the morning and evening so much nice Harikatha about the glories of Lord Ram. So today we're continuing to hear about Lord Ram, and then from tomorrow we will continue forward with our other Harikatha. Today is Dasarath Maharaj's festival for the birth of his son. This is Ram Janma Mahotsav. Dasarath Maharaj always celebrates this in the guidance of Vashishta Rishi and all the sages, the Brahmins, the Devatas are all welcomed and invited. Dasarath Maharaj, he conquered all directions, and he would even be invited to the heavenly realms to help Indra when Indra was on the brink of defeat by the demons. He would call up great kings such as Dasarath. When the demigods would make some mistake or commit some offense, immediately they would call Dasarath Maharaj, and he would go with his generals and commanders, and they would fight there and establish Indra on his royal throne again and then come back. So Dasarath was famous. Dasarath literally means he who has conquered all 10 directions with his chariot. Dasarath Maharaj he conquered all the different islands or continents on this earth. It means his chariot went in all 10 directions, not just north, south, east and west, but up, down, and even to the subterranean regions and to the heavenly regions. He was such a powerful king. Today we're going to hear some glories. Dasarath Maharaj, he thought, now alone I cannot serve and help everyone. When I go to heaven, then the earth is devoid of a righteous ruler to help and protect it. If I go to the lower regions, then there's no one to help in the earth and heavenly regions. And all the different sages, tapasvis, brahmarshis, kandarshis who do austerities in the forest, they are powerful, but Ravan, he was so powerful, but still he would not fight with Dasarath. He was afraid of Dasarath. So we see, Ravan defeated even Indra in heaven, but he didn't go to Ayodhya. He didn't defeat Dasarath. He didn't go fight with him because he was afraid of Dasarath. He would send his Rakshasas elsewhere, and we see Ravan did not disturb anyone in Ayodhya until Dasarath passed. Wherever Dasarath Maharaj's flag was seen, there Ravan would be silent and not fight. So Maharaj Dasarath, he thought, how can I serve and help and protect everyone? I need to find some way through which I can serve everyone. That time He asked all the sages and he studied all the scriptures and performed many sacrifices. He gave so much charity and he performed all types of religious acts and services. Then also, he never by force took anyone's daughter and married her. Everyone gave their daughters, all the kings gave their daughters because they wanted them to have a proper righteous husband. And he would respect them all. He would not keep them like maidservants. He kept them like maharanis, great queens. He had one desire, however. If I have a son, if that son becomes an enjoyer, if he has no service tendency, then what is the point? What is the gain? To take taxes from the subjects of a kingdom is easy, but to protect and maintain the subjects with heart and soul, it is a very rare thing to find. So he did so much austerity, like Nanda Maharaj. Nanda Maharaj, he said, I don't want any son. Everyone is my son. Yashoda said, everyone is like my son. But Dasarath, he had so many queens. If they wanted, why could they not each have 10, 20 children? It was not that the queens had no power. But at first Maharaj, he didn't want so many sons who would be enjoyers. Therefore he did so much austerity to get good sons who would actually be guardians and protectors of the subjects. He didn't want a wicked type of son who would become a king who would tyrannize the subjects. Instead of serving the sages and the subjects, they would only demand service and tax and such from them. So Dasarath Maharaj many times would receive counsel from Vasishtha Rishi and hear from scripture. He would also invite great different sages and perform great yagyas and respect them so much. There was no Santa or Sadhu or Rishi who was not served and welcomed by Dasarath Maharaj. That person who can go everywhere and is respected everywhere, he can go to the heavenly realms, he can go everywhere. So what is the lack for such a personality as Dasarath Maharaj? But he wanted to have a proper good son, so he did so much austerity. He thought, I want a son who will help and be the cause of happiness to all the different living beings in the world. But there's one thing. He wanted someone who could also give proper teachings to everyone according to proper rules and regulations. If you take those who are like criminals and just put them in prison or shoot them, kill them, give them capital punishment, or anyhow destroy them, that is not the rule of dharma. Rajniti and politics and dharmaniti are very different. Rajniti is like politics and dharmaniti is like the proper conduct of dharma. So Dasarath Maharaj, he is in the Surya dynasty, the sun dynasty, and he was very magnanimous like the sun. The sun rises and he gives its energy and light to everyone, regardless of whether they are thieves or criminals or dacoits. He helps everyone without discrimination. He does not say, I will not give you my sun rays and my energy to this person, I won't give it to that person. The sun is unbiased like this. He is samadharshi, or equipoised, and equal to everyone. So Maharaj Dasarath wanted like that he would have a son who would give everyone appropriate instructions and make them all qualified, instead of just punishing the culprits. Otherwise there is tantric upasana and tamasi upasana, rajasi upasana, satviki upasana. There are so many worshippers and so many kinds of worship in the different modes of nature, passion, ignorance, and goodness. There are so many cheaters who profess the teachings but are only cheating others on the name of religion. There are some people who, what they will do is they will go and try to destroy those who are wicked and help prolong the reign of those who are righteous. But Dasarath, what was his mood? He was saying, no, how can I rectify those who are wicked and help them change, and then they can stay a long time as good people instead of just to destroy them. And also he said, you need some people like this. If there are wicked like demons, then the sadhus will do very strong bhajan and very quickly they will get a higher destination. But if there's no wicked people or demons opposing the sadhus, then the sadhus will become lazy in their practices and they will become stagnant in their sadhana. So Dasarath Maharaj considered all these different things. He thought that all living entities, they are like the children of God. They are all the parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality. So how can I establish their relationship with God? Then I will be pleased. Therefore, Dasarath Maharaj, he had no material considerations. People would say, however, to Dasarath, now you are becoming older and you still have no sons, and your queens are also sad, your subjects are also sad about this. When Dasarath, he would go to big assemblies and to the ashrams of great rishis. They said, Dharma Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam, that Dharma, it appears and is protected by God Himself. The Lord Himself protects Dharma. Ordinary people, he said, I don't want such an ordinary son. So Dasarath Maharaj, he received the blessings and the mercy of the sages, and by the mercy especially of his Guru Vashistha. He was waiting for this. By the influence of time, in due course they brought Rishi Shringa from the forest, who was a pure brahmachari, and he performed the yajna, and through this he received 4 sons. When he had these 4 sons, from before he had a desire that I want to engage my sons in the service of all the different sages and rishis in the forest. We heard yesterday how he made a pledge to Kaikeyi Maharaj that if he had a son with his daughter Kaikeyi, then that son would become the king. So when he had these 4 boys, they were so dear to him, like the best of friend. As soon as his sons came, then moha develops, or a deep attachment. And they were also very beautiful, qualified sons with all good qualities. If we don't have moha with Bhagavan, then what other kind of moha can there be? Who will we have mamata or possessiveness with? So these 4 sons were all incarnations of Vishnu himself. So naturally he had so much attachment and love for them. When Vashistha came, or Vishwamitra came and requested them to come and help him in the forest, he tricked him and gave Bharat Satrugna instead of Lakshman and Ram. First he said, I will give Ram Lakshman, but he had so much attachment for them, he didn't want to expose his 2 dearest sons to any risk in the forest. Vishwamitra said, oh, please send your sons to help me protect the yajnas from all the Rakshasas. The Rakshasas at that time, they killed and ate all the different sages. They had a whole mountain of the Brahmin threads and another mountain of the bones from all the Brahmins and sages they had devoured in the forest. So Dasarath asked Vishwamitra Rishi, those who do bhajan, does God not protect them? How were they all devoured by the demons? Then Vishwamitra said, I will not be able to tell you this. Ask Guru Vashistha. Otherwise, I will go and bring Ram, and Ram will respond to this. So Ram came. Even though he asked for Ram and Lakshman, at first Dasarath tricked him and sent Bharat Satrugna. But when he saw this was not Ram and Lakshman, he came back. So then when Ram came, he asked him, oh, Sri Ram, can you tell? Those who have come to do sadhan, they have given up everything and they are doing their spiritual practices. Does God not protect them? these demons, they have made a mountain of just the Brahmin threads and another mountain of all the bones of the sadhus they have eaten. So why were they not protected by God? Ramji smiled. He said, those who are independently practicing, who are not under guidance, who will protect them? In the name of bhajan, in the name of bhakti we have come. However, we are independent. We have no guardian. So when the demons, the Rakshasas come and attack them, then the sadhus manifested anger, and by anger it burns all the power of your austerities, and then you become weak, you become ordinary, and then the demons can easily devour you. Before, how would they? They would anger the sadhus by throwing stool, urine, and flesh and things like that on their sacrifices, and then the sages would become angered, and then they would lose the power of their austerities, and then they would be devoured easily. Otherwise, if they were not made angry first, then they could never be disturbed. But by anger, all one's sadhana is destroyed. However, the sages and the sadhus who were residing in the ashrams of powerful rishis under guidance, like under the ashrams of Pulasta, Rishi, Kratu, Gautam and so forth, they could not be disturbed by the Rakshasas, because these great Rishi Gurus were never disturbed, and they were always protecting those who were in their ashrams. Once, in one area, because of the offenses of some ashram residents, for a long time there was no rain. There was a drought in the ashrams of the different sadhus. So they all went to Gautam Rishi and said, only in Gautam Rishi's ashram there was always nice rain fall, and it was very bountiful and full of lush foliage and fruits. So all the different sages came to the ashram of Gautam, because all their own ashrams were under drought, and Gautam Rishi served them all, and they all stayed in his ashram for a long time. Then they asked Gautam, why haven't there been any rains? And also, when we try to do yagyas, the fire will not start, and we cannot do sacrifices. Seems like some great offense has been committed. Everything is dry now and like a desert. Now all the proper medicines and herbs have disappeared. What can we do? And what is the fault? Gautam Rishi then stated that Sri Hari is Yageshwar, the Lord of Sacrifice. Those who worship Sri Hari, you should never feed remnants to Sri Hari. You should not give anything that is already enjoyed by someone in this world. So the sages say, we are always absorbed in austerities, we never give the Lord our remnants. Then Gautam said, sages, in one of your ashrams, your disciples, what did they do? They are so-called disciples. And they would milk the cows. When the cow milk comes, they would make kheer. And this kheer is cooked to offer into the yagya. In this way, it's offered to Sri Hari. But they think, if we offer everything into Thakurji's yagya, then what will we be able to eat? So first of all, they would take a separate share aside for themselves, thinking that otherwise our Gurudev, he will offer all the kheer into the yagya. So in this way, they first took aside from themselves, and this became remnants. Anything that is first offered to Hari, whatever is remaining is mortal nectar, amrita. But if first we take aside for ourselves, and then we offer Thakurji, then this is remnants, and this is a great offense to the Lord. This shows we have no faith in God that He will look after us. So, was this boga for Sri Hari, Yageshwar Hari, or was it for your own disciples who enjoyed it first? If you eat first, or set aside for yourself first, that they didn't eat this first still, but they set something aside, bought aside for themselves, that said Ishavasam idam sarvam. In the Ishopanishad it is stated that everything is the Lord's property, all living entities and all things. Why was this world created? Everything is the Lord's. Without giving it to the Lord first, if you try to enjoy that yourself first, then certainly you will have to suffer the karmic reaction. This is a great sin. This is a great wrongdoing. So, Yageshwar Hari, for such, he was given remnants in his yagyas. Therefore, all the yagya fires have stopped. So, I can never do like this in my ashram. Therefore, Agnidev himself would not light the fires because he thought, I will not offer such things to Hari. Therefore they could not start the fire. That day when they stole this kir, they tried to start the fire and they could only get ash and they could only get smoke, but no fire started. So to make disciples is very easy, but to properly train the disciples is very difficult. And if disciples will not take chastisement from Guru or discipline from Guru, then they were not real disciples. Now disciples are ready to cut the neck of their gurus. If the Guru disciplines them just a little bit, then they immediately become opposed to Guru. So in this way, disciples, nowadays, they go to hotels, motels, they aren't afraid to eat in any restaurant. They say God is everywhere. So in my mind, I offer to God and I eat. I go to the restaurant and I offer it to God in my mind and then I eat it. This is, have we taken birth and come into the line of bhakti, become disciples only to fill our stomachs? Are we like animals? We are fallen like this. If Guru does not give proper teaching to the disciples and the disciples do not properly take shelter of Guru, then because of this everything is spoiled. In this way they are cleaning their own pathways to hell. So now all the sages heard this from Gautam and they saw, oh, Gautam Rishi's ashram had no problem. There was very nice clean water, beautiful fruits and roots and vegetables. So they all began to pray for forgiveness to Bhagavan. They prayed to Jagadguru Brahma, to Vishnu, and prayed for forgiveness from everyone. And they said, again, we will not act wrongly like this. Then in due course, the rains again came, and all the different ashrams again became lush and green. So a whole year had passed, and then the sages all said to Gautam, now please give us permission to leave. Why? Now the rains had started, and their ashrams were again lush. They had again facility to feed their cows and animals and maintain everything. So they said, let us go back to ashrams now. Gautam Rishi advised them, no, you should not go immediately. Why? You should wait some time. Now the rains have just come and all the grass is fresh. If the cows eat all this from the first rains, then they will not be able to digest anything and they will become sick. Let some time pass and then you can go after a couple of months, but you should not go at once. They thought, oh, if we stay much longer in Gautam's ashram, oh, then we will have to always be in his guidance and respect him. We'll always have to be humble before him. We'll always have to bow before him. We'll always have to be under his subordination. So, who has not been eaten or devoured by pride like this? So all the sages, they thought, he won't let us leave. He wants us to be subordinate to him. So they thought, he won't let us leave and we cannot disobey him and leave. So let's make some arrangement. So what did they do? They made some maya, some mystical feat. Gautam every day would go to bathe in the Ganga and then would perform his tapasya in Brahma Muhurta. So through some maya or some illusion, they made a cow that was very feeble and old, like a fake cow, and she was very thin and old, and they put her right in the pathway that he had to leave through, to the Ganga. So Gautam Rishi came in the morning to go to the Ganga. He said, oh Gomata, please move aside so I can go. But she stood there without moving. He said, please let me pass, I have to go. And he asked her politely and indicated politely for her to move. I have to bathe and perform my anik. But she would not move aside. So she was made of maya like this. So he took one kush grass and he tapped her to encourage her to move. But then she began to shiver and shake and then she fell down on the ground, senseless, like dead. Then all the sages began to shout, oh, Gautam Rishi killed the cow. Gautam Rishi killed the cow. He killed the cow. Now this ashram is filled with sin. Now we cannot stay here. Let's go, let's go. So at that time all the different sages quickly collected all their possessions and left. So Gautam Rishi went to the Ganga, sat down and did anik, and they said, oh, this cow was only made by the maya, magic of the rishis. So then he said, oh, now if you try to help people like this and you help them in all different ways, look what happens. Look what type of maya they did. So with these real sages, are sages like this, will they get the realization or the benefit of the mantras by performing such duplicity? They will have no mantra shakti, so they are just skeletons now. They have no spiritual strength. So how can these sages who are so-called sages be protected from the demons? Therefore, such independent sages, they were defeated and devoured by all the different Rakshasas of Ravan, by Marich, Taraka, Surpanaka. So many Rakshasas came from Ravan, and first they would tease and taunt all the sages and throw impure things. Then they would become very angry. When they would become angry and start to curse the Rakshasas, then they lost all their strength. Then very easily they were all caught one by one and cooked up and eaten. And in this way they made the mountain of Brahman threads and the mountain of bones. Lord Ram is Maryada Purushottama. He does not take anyone's side or part and think, I will not tell them what is their wrongdoing, because otherwise they will become against me. He is not a coward who's like, I will not say anything wrong that you do, and you also don't say anything wrong that I do. I'll be silent, you be silent, and we can both continue our sinful activities. It is said, Sarancha mitancha vachan vagmita. You should speak the essence and sweetness, people say, that you should not speak harsh words. But if it is something that is hidden and against dharma, and someone is going against dharma, then this is duplicity and hypocrisy and cheating, and we should speak the truth therefore. Otherwise, people will become more quickly destroyed. Therefore it is said, Satyam priyat apriyam bruyat. You should speak the truth, but not only the pleasant truth, even if the truth is unpleasant. Some people say Satyam priyat priyam bruyat. You should speak the truth, or Satyam only if it is priya or pleasing. But Ramchandra is not like that. He followed the rule of Satyam bruyat apriyam bruyat. Speak the truth even if it is unpleasant. Everyone thinks that I should have a nice ashram, I should be in charge, I should be able to do as I like, I should live independently and do as I please, without any guidance of any superior guru. Why did the demons not go into the ashrams of Agastya Rishi? When Ram went to Agastya Rishi's ashram, Agastya and his followers, they had not been devoured by the Rakshasas. So when Ram came to Agastya Rishi's ashram, Agastya served Ram and Lakshman, and he saw so many different animals, even violent animals like bears and tigers and lions. They were living peacefully with deers and sheep and other peaceful animals, and they were all playing together. They were living, passing their lives, eating grasses and fruits and roots, and they left all their violent nature. There was no violence or Bhed Bhavana, mood of like separateness. So Ramchandra went to many rishis' ashrams and he served everyone, and there were many places where sages were not disturbed by the demons because they were pure proper sadhus. So in this way, when Ram went to Janakpuri, Vishwamitra, we heard Sunayana and everyone else, they saw these two beautiful boys, these two beautiful youths who came with Vishwamitra. So they came and told Janak Maharaj, oh, why did you make such a vow that whoever lifts up the bow of Shiva can marry our beautiful daughter Sita? These boys, they're so beautiful that they should be offered the hand of Sita, but you have taken a vow that whoever can lift up this bow, that person will be her husband. So Janak Maharaj, he said, why do you think these youths don't have any strength? You think they are so beautiful, so they aren't powerful also? So Ram Lakshman, they bathed in the lake nearby, and then they came to see the beautiful capital city and palace. So Vishwamitra heard that Janak Rishi's wife had said, Janak Maharaj's wife had said, oh, these boys are so nice and beautiful, it would be good if Ram was the husband of Sita, but he looks so beautiful and youthful that I don't think he's strong enough to lift the bow. So Vishwamitra, he went, oh, why are you saying like this, that they aren't powerful enough to lift the bow? Janak Maharaj said, there is no Veer, powerful warrior left in this world. What can I say? Why? Because so many different people had come to try to lift the bow, but everyone had failed. And he thought, now we cannot find anyone to be Sita's husband. So they were lamenting. Then Ram very quickly lifted up the bow and strung it. before Dasarath had seen Sita Devi very easily lift up the bow when she was cleaning that area. She would pick it up with one hand and clean underneath that area. So in this way, every day she was respecting and worshipping the bow of Shiva. So he thought, how can I marry my daughter to a weak man? She is so powerful to lift up this bow. At least her husband should be equally as strong as her. So
क्यों इतना चटपट बोलता है एकदम तो जब गुरु पहले जब है ना बोले गुरु गोविंद ठाणे है काय के लागू पाओ बोले ओ बलिहारी.
So at that time Vishwamitra said to Ram, just wait some time and then we will perform this pastime. Lakshman, he was very powerfully speaking, saying at first, oh, you're very proud, you're thinking we don't have the strength to do this. He said, we'll just lift it up like a feather. But Vishwamitra said, just wait. Then he told Ram, just look, can you lift this bow? Then Ram picked it up and he started to string it, and immediately the bow broke in two. And it had such a loud sound, the whole earth was trembling. Why? Because this was the bow of Lord Shiva. So Janak said, only you have to lift it up. But he lifted it up and he strung it. As soon as he strung it, it broke in half. Then Parshuram heard this sound and he came and he said, who broke my Guru's bow? Who broke Lord Shiva's bow? He was very angry. He killed all the Kshatriyas 21 times and the whole world is afraid of him. So Janak Rishi thought, oh, now Parshuram has come, now he will destroy everything. Because if Parshuram becomes angry, then what can be done? So the two boys were standing there. Parshuram said, who broke this bow? Lakshman said, oh, this bow? This is just like an old, very, very old, feeble broke. If it broke, what's the problem? What type of bow? Then Parshuram was very angry. Don't you know who I am? He said, oh, I know who you are. I am not a coward. That if you show me your finger, I will wilt like a coward. He said, oh, you are challenging me. Don't think I'm just some coward. So Parshuram said, oh, this boy is very strong. The other boy is very sweet and soft. But then he said, okay, you've broken Shiva's bow. Now shake my bow and see if you can break it as well. So Ram grabbed Parshuram's bow and he put a notch and arrow on it and he pulled it back. He said, now what should I do? Do you want me to kill you or do you want me to steal all your tapasya? Now I've strung the bow and pulled the arrow back. I must shoot it somewhere. Who can take the strength of this bow and arrow? When he destroyed the Kshatriyas 21 times, then why the Kshatriyas had done so much tapasya and prayed to Bhagavan. So therefore the Lord appeared in 4 divisions, in 4 features as Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrugna to re-establish the Kshatriya line. So Parshuram said, okay, you can take my Shakti. So Ram shot the arrow and it took all the Shakti of Parshuram, and then he went and performed austerities in Badrikashram. Then Dasarath Maharaj, Janak Maharaj and Sunayana, they all came and they offered Sita Devi to the Lord Ram. He said, now we will not immediately have the wedding. Dasarath also has 2 other sons that they brought. His brother had a daughter and her name was, I think it was Urmala. So she was married to Lakshman, and then they also had other girls. So Vishwamitra said, oh, Dasarath also has 2 other sons, Bharat, Shatrugna. So we will have the wedding later and all the boys will get married. So they came back sometime later. Then Dasarath began to think, now Ram is Yuvraj, he is a prince. His birthday is the most auspicious, is Nomi. So I will engage and coronate him on that day. And he decided like this. So he sent Bharat and Shatrugna to their mother's father's home. He had vowed to Kaikeyi Maharaj that he would make Kaikeyi's son the prince, the king. They all knew this, but they also knew that he favored Ram. So Dasarath, he sent Bharat Shatrugna away, and he thought, while they're away, then I will coronate Lord Ram. So then Ram came, "Oh mother, Kaikeyi, I'm coming to beg something from you. Will you give it to me?" She said, "Oh son, my life, my soul, my body, everything is yours. I don't know anything but you, that you are more dear to me than my own son Bharat." So Ram said, "Didn't Dasarath Maharaj give you 2 boons that you haven't fulfilled yet? And you said, I will ask them in due course." And she said, "What should I ask?" He said, "The first boon should be that Bharat will be king. And the second boon will be that I or Ram will go to the forest in exile for 14 years. Why? My father, he is about to go off the path of dharma. He vowed to Maharaj Kaikeyi that he would make her daughter's son the king, but now he has sent them away by trickery and is trying to coronate me. Who will be such a righteous brother, who, himself being the eldest, he will give his brother the kingdom, and he himself wants to, as a Kshatriya, wants to go into the forest as an ascetic? Who will be such a righteous brother as that?" So Kaikeyi said, "Okay, you want Bharat to be king, but why do you want to be exiled into the forest?" He said, "My father also promised that if he had a son, that son would be engaged in protecting the sages in the forest from all the demons and rakshasas, and he would help them and serve them. So he has 4 sons. At least one son should be sent to the forest to help the sages. He has 4 sons, so at least one of us should go and serve all the sages in the forest." Because Dasarath, he had before already vowed and thought, "I want my son to help everyone, especially all the sages who are afflicted in the forest." So in this way Ram asked Kaikeyi, he said, "Now my father, he is unduly attached to me, and therefore he is trying to trick and cheat your father and Bharat out of his kingdom. So also, if I am always in the kingdom here in Ayodhya, maintaining the kingdom like this, but I'm not going out into the forest in different realms, in different provinces, then how can I fulfill Dasarath's pledge, and how can I protect and serve everyone in the forests?" So in due course Ram left, and Dasarath, lamenting Haram, he gave up his body. Also Kaikeyi, she had to tolerate so much abuse from her son Bharat. He said, "If you were not my mother, I would kill you at once. But Ram will never forgive me if I did that. I would kill you, even though you are my mother, but Ram would never forgive me. But from this day I have rejected you as my mother. We have no more relation. I don't know who you are. You are dead to me." So then Bharat went. Kaushalya, she went, and she was the mother of Ram. She said, "Oh, your father told you to go, but I have half. Being the wife, I have half of a right also. So I am telling you, I never told you to go to the forest. Therefore you should come back. You have come this far, now you should return." Why? Ram went out one day into the forest, and then everyone from Ayodhya followed out, and they decided that when Bharat returned and he heard what had happened, then everyone in Ayodhya went to the forest and requested Ram to come back. So then Janak Maharaj, he came to preside over the assembly that they called to decide if Ram should come back or if he could go to the forest. And in that assembly, Janak Maharaj said that actually Bharat is victorious because his love is as deep as the ocean, and even though Ram's Maryada is as tall and strong as a mountain, it has become submerged by the ocean of Bharat's love. But Bharat, are you the servant of Ram, or do you want him to be your servant? Do you want to please Ram, or do you want to please yourself? So Bharat said, "I want to please Ram." So therefore he said, "As Ram desires, let him do." So then what did he do? He requested Ram's shoes, his wooden shoes. Then Ram had to travel in the forest barefoot. So what does that mean? No, some people say like that, but actually Ram didn't take his shoes to the forest, and Bharat, he brought shoes from Ayodhya on his head and offered them to Ram, and then he said, "Please one time bless these shoes, and then I will take them back and put them on the throne, and I will never consider myself king. You are the king, but I'm only maintaining it for 14 years as you are gone, and if you come back one day late, I will give up my body." So it wasn't that he stole Ram's shoes, so that Ram had to walk barefoot in the forest. He went
गुरु को लेके गए,
He went with his Gurudev, he went with all the mothers,
मर्यादा ऐसे नहीं
and
होता।
he went with all the
आजकल तो क्या होता है,
subjects. Nowadays, what do people do?
एक समय मैंने सुना
One time I heard
मथुरा मठ में
in Mathura,
महाराज जी कह रहे
in
हैं,
the temple, Srila Gurudev said,
कल गुरु जी का तिथि है,
yes, tomorrow is Gurudev's
मैं जा रहा हूँ निमंत्रण देने।
Tithi,
तो भेज दो।
so I will go and invite everyone. He said no. I said, you should send someone else. He said no. You should. He went to invite all the different acharyas.
मैं जाके निमंत्रण दूंगा।
It should be properly respected. If I send just an ordinary brahmachari, I don't know if they will properly respect everyone. This is not the proper way to invite someone. So when Bharat went to request Ram to come back to the kingdom, right after he had left into the forest, he did not go just alone. All the different gurus went, all the sages went, all the subjects of Ayodhya went, Kaikeyi and all the mothers went. This is the proper way of respecting someone. You have to respect everyone according to their position. So Bharat didn't run alone to try to convince his brother. Then also Lakshman, they were in Chitrakoot and they saw the whole army and so many people coming. So he took his bow and he told Ram, oh, they're coming. They're not satisfied having exiled us. Now they've come to fight and destroy us completely. So Ram said, oh, Lakshman, don't be so rash. Be patient. Ram was saying, no, Lakshman said, no, so many are coming, so many soldiers are coming, the whole royal army is coming, and everyone from Ayodhya is coming. So Ram, anyhow, told Lakshman, wait, be peaceful. Then they went to welcome them. Guru Vasishtha was there, Maharaj Janak was there, so many were there. Ram respected everyone. When he met with Bharat, they both embraced and wept with so much love. The current of the Mandakini river washed the feet of Lord Ram and Bharat in the form of all their tears, that when they all met, all their hearts melted and so much water came out. Then Godavari appeared there, Mandakini appeared there, all these holy rivers appeared there in their currents from just the tears of Lord Ram and Bharat and all the residents of Ayodhya. Everyone there began weeping so much that all the tears became rivers. So everyone thought that we will anyhow convince Ram to come back to Ayodhya. But Ram was so strong. He is the mountain of Dharya, fortitude, and he is the pillar of Maryada, etiquette. He will not cross over proper rules and regulation. So he said, my father, he made a vow and he always has to follow truth. If he breaks his vow of truth, then the whole dynasty will be destroyed. That the king must observe his honor at all times, at all costs. So then, why did Ram, as long as he was in the forest, he was not like a prince with his royal attire. He said, if someone is in the forest in Vanvas, means like living like a sadhu in the forest, they should not be surrounded by so many royal retinue. That Bharat is saying, at least you can take servants and you can take guards and you can take all your weapons and you can take all your paraphernalia. But he said, no, I will live in the forest like an ascetic. When he went to the river to cross over and to enter deeper into the forest, the boatman said, no, I will not take you across the river. Why not? Why not? He said, oh, I heard that before you went with Vishwamitra and you went to an ashram and your feet touched a stone. That stone became a woman. So my boat is the source of my livelihood. If your feet touch on my boat, then what will I do if that boat becomes a woman? That I already have to work so hard to maintain my one wife, that if this boat becomes another woman, how will I maintain both of them? So this boat is my means of livelihood. If I have two wives to care for, then I will be destroyed. So what can I do? So what will you do then? So the boatman said, I will do one thing. First I will bring a wooden container and I will wash your feet and I will see if that pot doesn't become a woman, then I will let you come into my boat. One other thing, that your feet, they don't have so much strength, but your power is in the dust of your feet. So I will wash your feet with Ganga water and then I will carry you in my arms and place you in my boat. So this is Kevat, the boatman. He is very famous. So then what could Ram do? In his life he never would let anyone wash his feet like this. But this is one kind of bandhan or bondage of prem or love of the devotees. So the boatman was very clever, thinking that anyhow I want a chance to bathe Lord Ram's feet. So he came with his whole family and they all bathed Ram's feet with Ganga water. And Ganga also was so happy. And this Kevat, his family and everyone drank this Charnamrita. And millions of lifetimes of sadhana, everything was successful on that day. So he gave it to his whole family line. And then he carried Ram and placed him. He said, now, why? Your dust is very powerful. So first I will wash your feet and then I will carry you into the boat. Otherwise, if the dust comes on your feet and then you walk in my boat, then who knows what will happen. So in this way he made this ploy to be able to get the foot dust of Lord Ram and to be able to carry the Lord. So in this way Ram crossed over the river. Then he thought, I want to offer you some gift for crossing me over. So Sita had one ring. He didn't have anything else that they had kept. So the boatman said, you cross everyone over the ocean of birth and death. I have only taken you across this small river. So really we are of the same caste. We are Jati Bhai, brothers in the same caste. So no one takes money from someone of his own profession. So we are both boatmen, but you are a bigger boatman. So I only have one request to you. When you come back from the forest, then also go across by my boat back to Ayodhya. That is my dakshina or payment that I request. So then Ram's heart melted. He embraced Kevat, the boatman, and said, you have bought me, you have purchased me by your love. So how should the heart be of the devotee? Can he ever forget Ram? When Ram became king, Ram invited everyone. Not only Kevat came, the boatman, but everyone came from that whole area. So when Ram continued further into the forest, then that place in that forest area, there was one forest king, and he heard, Lord Ram is coming. So everyone there, they came. It was evening time, so they put out a nice seat. Lakshman, he put out different dry leaves for Sita and Ram to rest on. But this king, he came, no, I have offered this entire kingdom to you. That you left this other kingdom, but I offer this entire forest kingdom to you. You should be the king here. So that time he showed him his entire kingdom in the forest. And he offered him many nice fruits and roots. He tried to bring him into his palace, but Ram would not enter the palace. He was very sad to see Ram in the form of an ascetic. So then when he saw that he would not enter the palace and eat his royal preparations, then he gave him simple roots and fruits, because Ram said, now I have taken a vow to live for 14 years like an ascetic, a sage, so I will not eat all this royal opulent preparations. So then when everyone was resting in the evening, then Ram left at midnight with his brother and Sita. So he sent, why all the Sumantaka and all the Ayodhyabasis were following Ram. So therefore Ram left at midnight, because none of the Ayodhyabasis would return to Ayodhya. So many wonderful pastimes are described in the Ramayana. So Ram manifested the Ramayana in Valmiki's heart 11,000 years before his appearance, and Valmiki wrote that at that time. When Bharat came to Chitrakoot to meet with Ram, this meeting was such a heart-rending scene. Finally, Bharat took the shoes of Lord Ram back. He said, I will not stay in Ayodhya. I will not stay in the royal palace. I will stay in an ashram outside, in a kutir. If my brother, who is the rightful king, is living in the forest as a sage, then how can I enjoy the royal opulence? So I will also maintain my life with fruits and roots, and always I will be absorbed in meditating on Ram's names, in doing Ram Kirtan, meditating on Ram. Everything became Ram-moy, or fully immersed in thoughts of Lord Ram. He knew nothing but Lord Ram, and he never took the royal position. He always thought of himself as like the steward, the maintainer of the kingdom. Then Kaikeyi also came and she said, "Oh Bharat, please give me a little place to also live like an ascetic near you." But Bharat said, "Oh, that kingdom and that palace that you begged for me, you can stay there, you can become the queen and you can enjoy all that opulence, but you cannot stay in this Nandigram place of austerities where I'm staying." He was staying in a kutir as a sage. She had to tolerate everything. She did not say anything. Why? This was all for the honor of Lord Ram. This was all for dharma. If we have to sacrifice ourselves for dharma, that is not such a big thing. If we have to tolerate the hardships and the criticisms of everyone for dharma, that is nothing, especially if we are doing it for the honor and service of Lord Ram. So the greatest austerity of everyone in Ramayana, in the Ram-lila, was Kaikeyi's. Everyone cursed her, everyone condemned her, everyone showed contempt to her, but she tolerated everything for Lord Ram and for the maryada of dharma. So in this way, Lord Ram thought, now I'm still nearby, so I will not stay in one place in the forest. We have to move throughout the different forests and help all the different sages. So in this way, Lord Ram, Lakshman and Sita, they went to so many different places in India. They went to Dandakaranya and then even further, very far away from Ayodhya. In this way, they went along the Ganga, and then they went where the Ganga and Jamuna meet, and they went all the way to the ocean. Then they went along the ocean, the forest along the ocean. When yesterday we heard many different things. When Ramji went to Dandakaranya, there he met with Shabari, the forest lady, and he ate the offerings she gave of fruits and berries. He met with Jatayu and Sampati. He met with Hanuman and Sugriv. In due course, he met with all his associates in the forest. And developed friendship with everyone. When he went and sat at Dhanushkoti near the ocean, at that time, he told the ocean god Varuna, for 3 days he gave him a chance to give him a path across, but then Varuna still did not appear. Then he took his bow and said, "With one arrow I will destroy and I will destroy the entire ocean, and I will scorch all the water, everything will be lost." Then Varuna Dev thought, okay, all the different aquatics living in the water will also be killed. So he appeared. His name is Ratnakar. Varuna, he protects all the jewels in the ocean. So at that time Varuna Dev appeared before Ram. He said, okay, you can make a bridge, Setubandhu, a bridge across the ocean. You have 2 monkeys with you, Nal and Neel, and they are very great, intelligent architects. So they can make a bridge across the ocean. And I give you the boon that the stones that you have put along the water, ocean, just write your name on the stones and then they will float, they will not sink. I can help that much. He didn't tell Ram that you can make a bridge out of arrows. What is the harm? Ram could even very easily do this. But Varuna Dev, that he knew that the sevaks, they wanted to be able to do service, and through service you develop love and affection or mamata and possessiveness. That Ram could easily do everything. He has Lakshmi, he has all Shakti. He could very easily just shoot an arrow from there and kill Ravan. He could do anything he liked. Like they came back by a Pushpa Abhiman, like a flower airplane, a heavenly airplane. So he could have done the same thing now. But instead, he had to give everyone a chance to serve, and he had to perform his pastimes in this way. So in this way, all the Vanaras had the chance to make the bridge and do this dear service for Lord Ram and establish a loving relationship through this service. So Nal and Neel, they began to engineer the boat, the bridge. Then Ram thought, everyone is working so hard to make the bridge, I also want to help a little bit. Everyone would come picking such huge stones and boulders for the bridge, and they would all throw them in the water, and they would throw big trees and hills even. And everyone was so busily serving like this. You could never imagine all the hundreds and millions of different animals were serving to build the bridge, all on the strength of Ram's names. So then everyone was, there were the different monkeys who were just writing the names and all the different things that were brought and throwing in the ocean. Everything floated. So Ram took one stone and also threw it into the ocean, thinking it would help. But immediately that stone sunk. Then he took another one and it sunk, and he took a third one and threw it in and it also sunk. Then Hanuman began to smile and laugh. Then Ram said, "Oh Hanuman, why are you laughing and teasing me? That everyone else is working nicely, but I'm trying to help and all my stones sink." So then Ram said like this. Then Hanuman began to smile and said, "Oh Lord, those who take your name and throw the stone in, those are floating because they are sanctified by your names, and they are accepted by you because you are non-different from your names. But if you are rejecting someone, meaning you, Ram himself, are throwing that stone away from you, then how can it float? Immediately it sinks. Anyone who is rejected by Guru or rejected by Bhagavan himself, how can it stay afloat? Instead it immediately sinks." So Ram, at that time, he smiled. Then he would just observe all the different monkeys and all the different animals, the Jambavan, everyone was helping. Even the squirrels and all the different squirrel tribes and families, they all came. They would jump in the ocean, climb out, roll about in the sand, and then they would go on top of all the rocks, every part of the bridge that had already been made, and they would shake all the sand off their bodies. And they would do this again and again, and all the different hundreds and thousands of squirrels were jumping in the ocean and then rolling in the sand and then going and shaking that sand off on the bridge. So some of the monkeys were teasing the squirrels and telling them to get out of the way because monkeys and the bears and other big animals might step on them. So they're saying all this is useless. We are building the bridge. So then Ram asked them, they all complained, like they talked to Ram to try to arrange some compromise. So they said, "Oh Ram, we are very small and feeble and weak, and we are not able to do such big, powerful works like the monkeys. But anyhow, we want to serve however we can. So when we jump in the ocean, then all our fur becomes wet, and then so much sand can be collected when we roll in. And then we go onto the bridge and shake that all off." Why? Because the bridge, there are many sharp stones, and all the monkeys' feet are very strong, like arrows. But your feet are very soft. So we don't want your feet to be cut when you're walking on all the sharp stones. Therefore, all the sand will make it very smooth and soft. So Ram was very pleased with them, and he began to stroke them with his fingers. He said, "Just look at their high moods, that you should judge service by the mood, not just the external act." Like Krishna's footprints became symbols on Kaliya's heads in this way, or hoods. In the same way, Ram stroked the squirrels, and his finger strokes became white stripes on the squirrels. That the Lord can never forget anyone's service. If anyone serves, the Lord accepts that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said, he engaged everyone in cleaning the Gundicha temple. When he saw Prataprudram sweeping the street, he was so happy with him. At that time, Mahaprabhu was pleased with Prataprudra Maharaj and accepted him. Even though the king was in such a high position, he was taking the menial service of sweeping the street. If today we were to tell someone, "Oh, now it is a little bit dirty, sweep the temple," then that happened like in Mathura. We had a manager, and he told one boy who came, who was from a high family, Brahmin family, he said, "Can you serve?" The manager told him, "Can you serve?" He said, "Okay, now clean the stairs of the temple and sweep all the stairs and mop them." So the next day he said, "Oh," the manager said, "You didn't sweep, you didn't clean the stairs?" Then he said, "Oh." He said, "I can't do this. I have no strength to do this." He said, "Oh, you can't even sweep once? I will beat you. Leave at once." And he said, "How can I do this low service? Give me some other service."
बदमाश, मैं पर बाबा ऐसा नहीं, उसका दस्त हो रहा है, ताकत नहीं है, इससे बोल रहा है मैं यार झाड़ू नहीं दे सकता.
Oh, the Kunj Bihari manager, this person, he couldn't speak proper. He was saying it wrong, so he was actually saying like, I have diarrhea, so I don't have any strength to do it. In some dialects of India, if they say, oh, Jadu Lagana means to sweep, but it also, Jada means like, I have diarrhea. So there was one boy who came to the mat and he was staying there, and the manager told him to sweep. But the manager was chastising him so much because he said, no, I don't have any strength to sweep. But he was saying, not that he can't sweep, but he was saying, I need some medicine because I have diarrhea. Prabhupada Maharaj, when he sweeps in front of Jagannath, he would use it with a golden broom. Nowadays, the king, he will only sweep on the chariot itself. Before, Prabhupada Maharaj and the different kings of Orissa, they would sweep the pathway, the whole way from Gundicha from Sri Mandir to Gundicha. Also, the commanders of the army and the soldiers themselves would also sweep in front of Lord Jagannath. Not that only the king would sweep, and they would put rose petals and fragrant oils and perfumed water. They would clean all the way up to Shraddha Balu, and they would sprinkle everywhere with nice water. They would not keep any even pebbles on the road. When the British came, then they made like a proper road, but for a long time there was just a dirt road. Then they put down a stone road, and there was still a river that the Jagannath would go like halfway, and then there would be a river in the middle, and then Jagannath would cross over it, and then he would have 3 chariots on one side and 3 chariots on the other side. Then in due course of time, that river dried up, and so then it became a road all the way across, and Jagannath now goes without having to have 2 chariots. But still, where Jagannath would stop before, they will stop for some time there. And most years, Jagannath will also stop there, and he will finish the Rath Yatra the next day. Sometimes he goes in one day, but many times Jagannath will stop where before there was the river. So Mahaprabhu saw Prithviraj Maharaj serve, and he became very pleased. So Ram, he saw the moods of service of all the different squirrels. Also the birds, they would fly. All the different types of birds would come flying, and they would be carrying different twigs and small pebbles in their mouths, and they would put it on the bridge. In this way, not just the monkeys were building the bridge, but all the different animals of the forest and birds were all serving. We heard how Hanuman, he went to Lanka and he was hungry, so he asked Sita Devi after meeting her, "Oh mother, please give me permission to eat something. There are so many nice fruits here, so much nice honey. Everything is filled. The storehouse is full, but it's not for Rakshasas. This should be given to Lord Ram." So she said, "As you like." So Hanuman thought, first I will offer everything to Prabhu Lord Ram. So he took all the different fruits from there, and he sent it all to Dhanushkoti, where Lord Ram was. And Ram and all the monkeys were saying, where are all these fruits coming in from the sky? At that time, Ram distributed to everyone, and everyone ate very nicely. Why? Ravan had collected all the nicest types of fruits, not only from the earth, but also from heaven where he had defeated Indra. And all these different fruit trees were in Lanka. So many of these things were not found in India itself, because Ravan had collected them from all the different 3 worlds. So Hanuman sent all these to Lord Ram. When Ravan was killed and Sita was coming back, Sita was coming. Then first Ram said she will not come by palanquin, she will have to walk. That this is still in Lanka, after Ravan was defeated. So first she was coming in a covered palanquin, but Ram said, no, she must walk to me. Why? Ram, Lakshman and Vibhishan and Hanuman, they were very sad, thinking that Sita will have to take this very humble position. But all the monkeys, they had prayed for permission to see Mother Sita. They thought, now we want to see that goddess Sita who we have performed this whole war for and who have done all this for. So they all wanted a chance to see Sita. So they were all doing Ram Kirtan and they all brought her in a nice Sankirtan. Then as Sita was approaching, then first Ram said, oh Lakshman, we will not accept her. After 1 year we can accept her back. How can I accept her now? Because she has been in the home of another man for a whole year. So first we start a fire and she will have to prove her chastity and her purity by fire. Agnidev, he can determine what is pure and not pure. So Lakshman, he became very disturbed, thinking, how can I do this? What is the Lord Ram asking? But his elder brother was ordering him, so what could he do? So he made a huge fire, and Sita Devi entered the fire. At that time, Agni Devata, the fire god personified, appeared, and at that time he gave Sita Devi to Lord Ram and said, she is supremely pure. He brought her to Ram, but just see. Then when he returned to Ayodhya, what did the washerman say? He said, one night his wife did not return, the washerman. Then he said, oh, I'm not like Ram. When she came back, he chastised her so much. He said, I'm not like Ram, who lost his wife in another man's home for a whole year and then he still accepted her. So Ram heard about this and he was very sad and disturbed, even though Sita had already had the test by fire. And when the test of fire had happened, then Dasarath came in the heavens and all the different devatas appeared, all the sages in the heavens appeared, and they all said, Sita is supremely pure. Lord Ram, please accept her back. It is said in the Ramayana that Sita could never be touched by Ravan. Therefore, before Ravan came, Ram had kept Sita with Agnidev to protect her, and they had kept a Chaya Sita, or like a shadow Sita, and she was kidnapped by Ravan. And then when they did the fire test in the end, then this was putting the Chaya Sita to the fire and bringing back the real Sita from Agnidev again. So after the washerman said like this, then Ram told Lakshman to take her to Valmiki's ashram. He took her across and put her in the forest. And then when she woke up lamenting for Lord Ram, she fell senseless. Valmiki came and found her senseless in the forest and brought her to his ashram. And then in due course she had Lav and Kush as her two sons. Then in due course when they were singing the Ramayana and Ram invited Valmiki to bring Sita back, then again Ram tried to test her and she said, oh Prithvi Devi, please, this will be my test. Now please accept me back into your womb. So at that time the earth split open and the earth goddess came out and Sita Devi sat on her chariot and then she entered the earth and the earth closed up. So in this way Valmiki Ramayana, this point is concluded. Sita Devi did not come back to Ayodhya. Ram, he maintained the kingdom for 11,000 years after this. Lav Kush stayed, then later when he was leaving, he gave Shatrugna and his other brothers the different kingdoms. Shatrugna, Bharat and Lakshman. And their brothers, they began to maintain the different areas of the kingdom. So Ram-lila is very vast. It is Ananta. But he established proper maryada, proper rules and regulations and etiquette. Why did he... was it wrong that he sent Sita into the forest? When Sita went to the forest, that time she met with Anusuya in Chitrakoot and she met with all the different lady rishis. And she told them before, when I will go back, I will come back again and I will serve everyone here. So when Ram... Ram said, now you can go and serve everyone. Before, who would serve everyone? Who would maintain everyone? Therefore, Sita, while she was in the forest, she would serve everyone. She knew that Ram did not reject her from his heart. He gave her a great responsibility.
बड़े रहस्यमयी है,
So Ram-lila is full of many secrets.
इतना गोपनीय है,
It is very confidential.
और राम जी की कृपा के बिना
And without the mercy of Lord Ram, no one can serve in Braj. No one can attain the service of Braj.
क्या किया,
What did Ram do to the sages in the Dandakaranya forest?
सबको वरदान दिया,
He gave everyone the boon.
जाओ ब्रज में जाके
Go to
जन्म
Braj
करो,
and take birth.
और गोपगढ़ में
Become Gops and Gopi. Take birth in the homes of the Gopas. Become Gopis. Then I will fulfill your heart's desire. In other incarnations did not give such mercy. They make everyone their own. But Ram did not accept them as his own. He instead sent them to Sri Krishna. And he sent them to Sri Braj. And he gave them qualification to serve in Braj. Nitya Dham and Nitya Seva. He gave them entrance into the eternal Dham and eternal service. So, therefore, in our Gaudiya Sampradaya, there is great speciality to the worship of Lord Ram. Ordinary people do not understand this and have proper understanding. They think Ram is separate and Krishna is separate. Ram is the Paravasta avatar and he is Maryada Purushottam. First, there must be some Maryada, some structure, then you can enter. If you have no Maryada, no principles, this is like you have no foundation, no building, you have no rules and regulation, then you are independent, you are wandering around like an orphan. How can you do the Lord's bhajan? You don't know any rules and regulation, you don't know any vidhi, you don't know any proper principles, you haven't properly practiced anything. So Ram established the proper Maryada, and then on top of that, then there's the kingdom of Prem, the Prem Rajya. So after Ram-lila comes, then Krishna-lila comes. So today we conclude here, and tomorrow we will hear further. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.